We tested linen pieces from 10 of the most popular women's clothing brands in America, turned the labels inside out, felt the fabric, checked the seams, then ranked them from worst to best by one simple question. What are you actually getting for your money? The brand that markets itself to women over 50 scored near the bottom. And the brand at number 1 is a name most people have never heard of. But it sells the same real linen as the luxury fashion houses at a fraction of the price. We are not ranking Shine or Forever 21. You already know those are disposable. This list starts where real money gets spent and where the gap between price and quality actually hurts. Every brand gets one of 3 ratings: skip maybe, or worth it. And here is why linen, of all things. Because linen is the one fabric that cannot hide. You can blend cotton and fake it. You can dress up polyester with a nice finish. But real linen has a weight to it. A dryness and a crispness you feel the second you rub it between your fingers. And so many familiar names are charging us for the word linen while giving us almost none of the real thing. You have probably felt it yourself. That shirt you have had 15 years that still looks perfect, next to the one you bought last summer that went thin by August. Same kind of shirt, sometimes the same brand, nothing alike. Before we start the countdown, let me give you the one habit that is worth more than anything else I am going to say. When you are standing in a store, turn the garment inside out and read that little tag before you ever look at the price. Real linen will say 100% linen or 100% flax, which is just the same plant by another name. But the moment you see viscose or rayon or polyester creeping up that list, you are holding something that only looks like linen. And trust your hands. Real linen feels cool and dry and a touch crisp. A blend feels soft and a little slippery, and I know that feels nicer in the shop, but it is exactly the piece that lets you down a few washes later. All right, number 10, and this is the worst of the bunch. Mango. Now, Mango is very good at making you believe. They will hang a beautiful piece under a linen story, call it flax linen or a linen mix, and let you fill in the rest yourself. But turn that label over, because that is where it all falls apart. One of their linen mix dresses is 86% viscose and only 7% linen. A shirt they sell as linen is 69% viscose, 24% polyamide, and just 6% linen. 6%. Let that sit for a moment. You are paying a linen price for what is really a viscose top with a whisper of flax in it. And their jackets are worse, because they will put the real linen on the outside where you can see it, then line the whole inside with polyester, which is the part sitting against your skin all day, trapping the heat. That is the opposite of why we reach for linen in the first place. So, this one is a skip. If you have to hunt for the flax on the tag, it was never really linen. Number 9. Zara. Now, Zara is fast fashion dressed up in a linen costume for the season. The pieces lean heavily on viscose and those slippery blends that hang so nicely on the rack under the shop lights and then start to pill within about a month of real wearing. Hold one up to the light before you buy it, and you will often see straight through it. Run your finger along a seam inside, and you will usually feel that thin little zigzag stitch, which is the quickest, cheapest way to close a seam and the first thing to fray on you. To be fair, Zara never promised to be an heirloom, but so many of us buy the linen expecting it to behave like linen, and it just will not. So, it is a skip, unless you truly only want it for one summer and you are at peace with that. Number 8. H&M. Same story as Zara, a little cheaper, and it disappears just as fast. The linen here feels weightless the moment you pick it up, and not in the good way. There is a bit of genuine linen tucked in the range if you go digging, but the weight is simply not there. The weave is loose, and it wears out right on schedule with everything else on their floor. The one kind thing I will say is that at least H&M is honest with the price, so you are paying a little for a little. That is more than I can say for a few names further up this list. Still, it is a skip. You are buying a look with a short life stitched right into it. Now, before we get into the names that are going to sting, let me hand you the one piece of math that changes how you shop forever. It is called cost per wear, and it is simple. You take what you paid and you divide it by the number of times you will actually wear it. A cheap linen look blouse for $30 that pills and goes see-through after one summer Say you get 10 wears out of it, that is $3 a wear, and then it is in the bin. A real linen shirt for $120 that you wear for 10 summers, softening the whole time, that is pennies a wear, and you hand it down after. The expensive one is very often the cheap one. Keep that in your head for the rest of this list, because it flips the whole thing upside down. Number 7. Chico's. And I know some of you have shopped Chico's for years, so let me be fair about this. Chico's genuinely used to be known for well-made pieces you could count on. But back in January of 2024, Chico's was bought by a private equity firm called Sycamore Partners and folded into a group called Knitwell. And these firms tend to follow the same script every time. They pile debt onto the company they bought, they cut costs to pay off that debt, and they quietly hope we will not notice the fabric getting a little thinner each season. And a lot of longtime Chico's shoppers have noticed. They will tell you the quality slipped, that pieces they would have trusted without a second thought now feel closer to what you could grab for far less somewhere else. One more thing that trips women up here is the sizing. Chico's uses its own number scale that does not match standard US sizes at all. So you cannot assume your usual size, you have to try it on or check their chart every time. So if you are going to buy a Chico's linen piece, turn it inside out, hold it to the light, check that seam, and be honest with yourself about whether the price matches what your hands are telling you. It is a maybe, at best, and only off the sale rack, and only after you have read that label twice. Number 6. Talbots. And oh, this one hurts, because Talbots and linen have gone together in our closets for as long as most of us can remember. So let me be careful and honest with you. Talbots was bought by that very same firm, Sycamore Partners, all the way back in 2012. And it sits in the same Knitwell group as Chico's now. Think about what that means for a second. One owner is quietly steering several of the names we grew up with, all at once, which is exactly why the decline feels so similar as you move between them. Longtime Talbots women have been saying for a while now that the fabric just does not feel the way it used to. But here's the fair part, and I really want you honest with me in the comments on this one. Some women still swear by the current linen, the wide-leg trousers, and the relaxed shirts that hold their shape through a hot day and a gentle wash. Talbots also sizes very consistently, with real petite and plus ranges, which is more than a lot of this list can say. So it is not gone. It is just not quite what it once was. And here's the little detail that tells the whole story. The vintage Talbots pieces, that older Irish 100% linen from years back, women are actively hunting those down on resale right now and paying good money for them. And when the 15-year-old version of a brand is more wanted than the new one on the shelf, well, that tells you everything you need to know. So it is a maybe. Buy the piece, not the name on it. And if you ever come across that old Irish linen secondhand, honestly, grab it with both hands. That is the better buy, full stop. Number 5. Banana Republic. Now, Banana has spent the last few years trying to move upmarket, leaning on names like Italian wool and organic cotton to sell you the upgrade. And to be fair, real linen does live in the range. The trouble is you never quite know what you are going to get because the quality swings from one piece to the next, and that full price almost never matches what you are actually holding. Their full-price blazers in particular can be a poor deal, the kind where the structure is fused in rather than properly sewn. So it goes bubbly and sad after a few dry cleans. But the very same brand, the very same rack, will have a genuinely good linen piece sitting right next to it. The difference is you should almost never pay their opening price. So if you are eyeing a banana linen blazer, check whether the seams are properly finished or just quickly overlocked. Check the fiber tag, and check the weight against what they are asking. It is a maybe, with one firm rule the regulars already live by. Never, ever pay full price at Banana Republic. Wait for the markdown, the real 40 to 60% off, because the real value only shows up once the price finally comes down to meet the fabric. Number 4. J.Crew. Now, J.Crew is really two different stores wearing the same name, and knowing which one you are standing in changes absolutely everything. The main collection carries genuine, lightweight linen that is breathable, nicely made, and honestly worth the money you pay for it. But the J.Crew factory line, the outlet side, is a whole different animal wearing the same little logo. It is poly-cotton blends and thinner fabric, pieces that fade and pill on you after just a few months. It looks like a lovely bargain in the moment, and it quietly costs you later. One heads up, if you have shopped them for years, their fit has crept smaller lately. So the medium that fit you a couple of seasons ago may feel like a large now. Try before you trust it. So it is worth it in the main store, on the linen and the natural fibers, and a skip at the outlet. Just read the store and the label as carefully as you read the logo. And before we get to the top 3, let me tell you something. Imagine walking into Nordstrom next weekend and knowing before you even touch the fabric which brands are worth your time and which ones are charging you $120 for a $12 sweater. That is exactly what my brand guide does. I ranked 85 clothing and shoe brands from worst to best, with the same quality checks I use in every single video. It is like having me right there in the fitting room with you. The link is in the video description, or scan the QR code that is on screen right now. Now, let's get to the 3 that actually earn it. Number 3. Quince. This is the value pick, and honestly, it almost feels unfair to the names above it. Quince linen comes in right around 160 grams per square meter, which is a real, honest mid-weight, the kind that hangs properly and is not see-through in the sun. And it is genuine 100% European flax, not a blend hiding behind a clever word on the tag. And they manage the price by selling straight to you, cutting out the middleman and the fancy boutique markup entirely, which is how a linen trouser that feels like it should cost well over $100 lands closer to $40. Think back to that cost per wear math, because at $40 for real flax that softens for years, this is one of the cheapest things you can put in your closet. Now, I will be honest about the catch, because there is one. It is not quite as soft or as luxurious in the hand as the true high-end brands, and the white pieces can run just a little sheer, so do hold them up to the light before you commit. On sizing, it varies a touch by style. So on your first order, it is worth getting your usual size and trying it properly. But for what you pay, nothing else on this list comes close. It is absolutely worth it and the best value of the whole bunch by a mile. Number 2. Eileen Fisher. This is the quiet, understated luxury, and it genuinely earns its price. It is real 100% organic linen, made thoughtfully, dyed naturally, and built to outlast the trends rather than chase them. And here's the lovely part. It always looks far more expensive than it actually costs, which is the exact opposite of that mango problem down at the bottom, where the thing looks dearer than it truly is. The only reasons it is not number 1 are honest ones. The price is genuinely high, this is a splurge, and I will not pretend otherwise. And the cut runs a bit boxy and minimalist, which simply will not suit every woman or every taste. So it is worth trying the shape before you fall for the fabric. But on the fabric and the making alone, this is about as safe as a splurge gets. And it is the kind of piece you will still be reaching for a decade from now. It is worth it. The one you will not regret. And number 1. The brand most of you have never heard of, Not Perfect Linen. It is a small Lithuanian workshop, and it is exactly where this whole list has been heading from the very first garment. Their linen is properly certified, and it is woven from the longest flax fibers you can get, which is precisely what gives real linen its strength and its long life. And here's the part I love. Every single piece is made to order. In your size, in your color, by women who have been sewing in that same studio since 2014. It runs around $100 to $150, with free adjustments to the fit and the length. So it is cut to your actual body instead of some guess on a size chart. And that is the answer to every sizing headache on this whole list. They simply make it to fit you. Now hold that up against the very bottom of this list for a moment. Mango wants full price for 6% linen and a polyester lining. And this little workshop will hand make you a 100% flax piece, built to soften and get lovelier for years, for less than the designer names charge in pure markup. And if you want to feel that difference in your own hands, their sister brand, Linen Fox, weaves a medium weight around 200 grams per square meter, noticeably heavier and denser than Quince at 160. So you can actually feel the step up between your fingers. This is what linen is supposed to be. It is the best on this list, and it is not even close. So here's the whole pattern, laid out plainly from 10 down to 1. The brands at the bottom are selling us a name and a look. 6% flax wrapped in a lot of viscose and a pretty photo. And the brands at the top are selling us the real thing. 100% linen, woven heavy, made to last for years. And what breaks my heart a little is how many of the names we loved slid down into that soft middle, coasting on a reputation they earned honestly 15 years ago, while the fabric quietly got thinner in our hands, one season at a time. So if you take just one thing from me today, let it be the little method we started with. Turn it inside out, feel the weight, check the seam, read the flax before you read the price. Because that little tag will always tell you the truth, the marketing never will. Now, I would love to hear from you. Tell me down in the comments which brand I ranked too high or far too low. And if you have got a vintage linen piece that has outlasted everything new in your closet, tell me the brand. Because that right there is the proof of everything I just told you. And if you want honest breakdowns like this one every week, go ahead and subscribe before you go.